hung up on,
And now we're going
the
into
rock.
Himmies.
Mm-hmm.
The
And you can see the bat chat here from Tomatitos. So we're talking about the bat chat. So it's clip
Yeah.
potential, right? 5
Yeah.
shells at
Oh, so
390, right? 1960.
they were basically saying it's annoying, and then they said that besides, like, I think they said Murrow is a good a map that you'll see 2 bat chats on a lot, but other than that, nah. Because all the other maps aren't as open. I think bat chat's kind of.
And on Murrow too, I guess like you can get in close for the brawl, and also you're not maybe as punished as much if you try to take those random little low probability shots at range. You can reload and be ready for the push, I guess. On
Right.
some of these other maps, you're like, oh, he shot twice, like on Cliff. He shot twice. He's screwed. He can't reload. You have to really make his shots count. But looking at these tanks here, Tomatitos, E100, Super Conqueror, 1277, double VZ, 1 bat chat, Burbology, 150B, 1 mouse, 1 E3, IS7 and double IS4. Going pretty heavy. I am actually surprised a little bit that we don't see more Super Conquerors used in this format. And I guess I understand why, and I think it's more the maps. Himmelsdorf, it's kind of hard to use a Super Conqueror, especially on attack. I mean, you can, but they're slow. And that's kind of the problem, right? And their DPM is great. Their snapping ability is great. Their penetration is great, but the VZs are so fast. And when you start coupling VZs with 277s, you just have a lot of mobility. And you see your K-line play coming out. And actually, IS7 going straight to G3, that very popular position, the bat chat on the hill, mouse IS4 in the north. And Surf's gone straight across.
Serve, always a sacrificial lamb for the team.
Ooh, some early shots into Muscles. Muscles caught out a little bit.
Since he's on Tomatitos, would he be called a sacrificial taco?
Can the bat chat on the hill even connect a shot here? He may be able to as he aims in. No, he could have squeezed the trigger there, Chief, but it was a low chance, and he had to be really predictive.
I doubt it. And then he has to force reload? I don't think it's worth.
Mm-hmm. Probably not. So while Burbology started up HP, now it's
due to the mouse. Yeah, and the thing is...
And double IS4.
Yeah, the double IS4 is actually really interesting. We have not seen that before. Like, I don't think we've seen that before. So, like we were talking about before, as these matches go on, these teams are going to start bringing a lot of different strats and doing a lot of different things against teams they consider, better, or maybe they're going to try stuff out. On some of the teams, they're like, we can kind of win this. Let's just test this out.
See there, a shot going into Sheep. 2 shots going into
Sheep. He might get
maybe
4.
Muscles gets
He's going to get all 4.
Oh, Sheep getting a little aggressive there and getting punished very badly. That's 100% accuracy from Muscles clip. I'm not sure what he was trying to... That was a...
I mean, a 50B... Well, here's the thing, right? So you just said something about up HP. You might want to recheck that.
Yeah, were in the past. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I think he's just trying to be cheeky and thinking no one would be watching that lane after their initial. And he was trying to get some free damage, but that...
I don't know how many tanks they lit.
Disjointed.
I don't know how many tanks they lit, but it almost seems like he would have been better off not going back up the hill.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was scared he was going to catch 2 IS4s there. Major Pain.
These VZs were going to go, and he was just a little early is what I think happened. And yeah,
Major Pain going up the 500, actually has some really cheeky shots. Yeah, he can go up this Rebel.
Mount up a little. Not in time to get the shot. The IS4 has not completely disengaged yet as he starts to make his next move. Sluxon tries to find shots through the fountain.
Oh, Server's going to get picked here. And they didn't get their pick, the IS4, so it's kind of GG. You lose a tank like this, and it's defense.
No one's able to help Serve. That once Serve went out there to the 1 line, like once you're there, you're pretty much committed. Like there's not really a retreat mode, and if there is, you're going to take punish. And they took all of their guns away, and now they're bringing all their guns back, but it's too late now. Oh. OP getting caught out, landing his shot in the IS7 on the move as tradition of the IS7, and now he's going to start disengaging a little bit, and they're trying to flex back. Yeah, you're right. It's just... Tomatitos have an idea. And they had I really like their Cliff defense because they definitely had an idea with that, and it just didn't quite work out. But
well, you know what's
goes down the mouse too. You
know what's weird? They picked Timmels, right? No shot. They picked Cliff. I'm pretty sure Burbology picked Cliff.
I'm pretty sure they picked Timmels, but I could be wrong. And Fluky now coming out.
So I'm wondering if they're just. I wonder if they're just trying to. I wonder if they were just trying to use Timmels as a. I know for a fact that Burbology probably banned Ghost Town. Because, like, who wouldn't ban Ghost Town against Tomatitos?
They did, yeah. I remember that. I was going to mention that in the pregame. It was like, yeah, this should not be a surprise. And down goes Fluky in his E100. October will probably die, but here's the thing. Tomatitos haven't gotten a kill. Oh, sorry. They did. Or, no, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Get a kill?
No, everybody's still alive.
First cliff? Oh, no, I was saying the second cliff they did. If they get shut out again, because October's going for his shots, someone can maybe sneak one under the rails, but they're fighting the mouse and company. It's over.
I feel like we end up going to the third map, though, because I really doubt that they lose on Himmel's defense, right? Like,
I don't know. Right now, it's Burbology just seems... The one theme, except from the last two rounds, is Burbology's getting up HP and up guns. The first round, Burbology stayed up guns kind of more by chance and hope than anything, but they dropped a lot of HP taking their positions, and Tomatitos looked up. These last two, they haven't. Burbs just... They're ready for every move that Tomatitos are taking. They're punishing them every crossing.
What the heck? How did the mouse get 4,400?
He shot him.
Where was he sitting again? In the 5 line? 4?
He was 3? On the 3 line, I believe. Yeah, I think he was like D3 at one point. He got the bat check going back up, I think, the 8 line from D3. And then I think he pushed up the 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good. It shows you the mouse still. I mean, it can still hang, you know. It isn't like the days of the OP-OP-ness, but it's still... It's great in this format because it's a difficult tank to deal with. It's just really freaking slow and big.
Right.
And looking here, Sebastian getting out 3,500 as well, but not enough. The VZ's got some damage.
I just think
they only got out one shot in that game. That's kind of surprising.
I wonder if well, here's the I'm just trying to think what was going through my sheep's mind. I almost think he was like pinging the map while going down.
Like from what I can tell, the VZs were flexing, right? They were flexing to the 8 line and they were getting ready to push. And the bat chat went down, and I think it was just disjointed. The timing was off, and I think Sheep must have just gotten ahead of the rest of his team. This is pure speculation. You guys, Tomatitos, feel free to message us after the matches and let us know. Because that was my like inkling, because they were set up there ready to push, and then they pushed the 8 line afterwards, and then they drove the IS-4 off his position, and Luxon was there in his super conquer. But at that point, it was just too late.
I was really excited for these matches.
I was too.
Now I'm depressed.
A little bit. That first round though was great. That first cliff round was great.
Well, the thing is, the cliffs were pretty close.
Mm-hmm. This one wasn't. This one was definitely not. And I don't know. We've got this big 5, right, at the top. And it's a double round robin. They have a lot of matches. Teams are taking points off of each other. Nobody's undefeated anymore. And they're all going to face each other a second time. And then they have a playoff.
Right.
Based on seeding. So these teams are going to play each other many more times. And maybe it's just this mid-season drought of either ideas or effort, or not effort. Effort's the wrong word. Like
these teams will play each other in the future. I was just we could cope for Tomatitos and say that, you know, they're saving their strats for later in the season.
Yeah, well, Tomatitos that first week, you pointed out, like, they were slow. That those like first 2 match days, I think in particular, and they're facing good teams. I think they're facing Jack as AFK, and I forgot the other team. Maybe it was Flare, and they were just a little bit slow. And then this last week they ranked it up hard in the 2nd to 3rd week, and then now it's simmering a little bit, but it's just showing consistency issues too. Like maybe it's just not every round everyone's on their A game. And, if you're on a team like that and someone, say, throws away their HP because they make a mistake or something bad happens, it just ends up kind of rendering a lot of the other stuff kind of pointless. Like, you could have done whatever you did in that Cliff game, and then someone got set on fire from the front.
It's their ping, Holmes.
It's their what? Ping?
Their ping.
Ah.
Yeah. That's why they're not winning the close range fights, because their ping is too high.
Then they should go heavier.
Oh.
When you have ping problems, you just
Yeah, Sheep was trying to clip the IS-4 in the back and then got clipped by the 50B, and he was like, bad leg! Bad leg! Hey, I got some bad leg.
Going into the next round,
DC.
Burbology on match point here.
Correct.
Burbology got kind of smoked on Wednesday. Not that Burbology was necessarily playing like poorly. They definitely weren't playing at the top of their game. But now it's just like business as usual. Like, Wednesday didn't happen for them, and it's going to be an aggressive defense from Tomatitos. They're going to send Serve and Sebastian into this courtyard. Muscles may end up getting caught out. Kenway spots them now, and Muscles is in a very, very precarious position. There is no one to protect him. They actually didn't even expect him there.
No. Who expects a CS there? He gets out for free though.
He was like, if I poke out, I could get shot by other guns that could be.
Kenway might not make it out clean though, unless they let them.
Yeah, they don't know where the other guns are because they don't have 5 line eyes.
I mean, I think they know. Their OP is literally clipping Fluky on the hill. They know a VZ's on hill. The problem is the E100
they don't know
and
where
the mouse.
Yeah, they assume the mouse and E100 would be going to the 8 line, and they're just not. And these VZs may run into them.
They're gonna run into Kenway first. Kenway's probably gonna light him.
This is cheeky from Burbology. They are playing sightlines really, like they're sitting in H5, hidden, not poking out on the 5 line right now.
I just don't understand why Tomatitos isn't running like a slower strat. I'm guessing they wanted to be this aggressive because of they're gonna have to do something soon though. If the Muscles is gonna get on the hill. If they're coming out of courtyard. This is actually making Muscles like useless. He's gonna be useless up there, and OP is out of the fight.
They run into these two. This is not what they were expecting.
There's a proxy. They proxied.
And they're like, interesting.
This is actually gonna be really interesting. They have 5 guns.
That's a lot of HP to try to dislodge.
But they have 5 guns against. Yeah, they have 5 guns against 3. Actually, now 2. I think they win this. They 100% win this.
Sheep have dumped their clips, 2,400 damage going out, and nothing really being returned except 1 shot into Sebastian, I think.
Luxon is actually dying.
Kenway's running away.
No, Luxon actually dies.
Down. And now they've got to get in there and help out Major in December. I don't know if maybe they should have backed off that road or not. Maybe it was correct. They're focusing.
I don't know why Luxon wasn't closer to the boys. Like, he should have been maybe in the courtyard or something. This is actually really bad. I think that Burbology actually takes this up because the mouse is just living for so long.
Yeah, they were able to focus E100 really well. And yeah, Muscles is now here in a crossfire situation. Hector and Serve are kind of stuck now. But if they can finish December, they can get a little bit safe.
The VZ is going to have a hard time finishing him. And he gets taken down.
Now it's just Serve, and he's going to need 2 high rolls in order to finish him, but Serve just took a 500-some damage shot right there. Here comes OP. He's coming in straight for Fluky or Serve. Fluky or Serve. It's Fluky. And Serve. But now both guns are 1-shots. That had to have been a communication situation where they were calling the kill shots, and just like that, Burbology 4-0.
Tomatitos. Tomatitos, yeah.
I like what Tomatitos were thinking there with getting their E100 and mouse there and trying to plan that kind of bait because they were going to eventually go north, put on cap pressure, and then have a big bait in the south. But Burbology were just really fast. Really, really fast.
Yeah.
With their flexing and with finding and catching them out.
Young Bastion actually able to do more than Sebastian. Impressive.
Or sorry, I misspoke about the teams.
Four from Tomatitos.
Yeah. I flipped the teams for a split second. I meant to say that Burbology's like Mouse E100 worked well there as a bait, and it didn't work out exactly how I think they planned it, because they expected to eventually put on, I think, Northern Cat Pressure, and then
dude,
they just ran into too much HP with too many light tanks.
Some of the people that play mice in this league are insane. They'll get like 4K damage, and then they'll get 2,500 after being the second tank pushed. You know what I mean? It's really impressive.
And it was so it's about making certain vehicles relevant. When you're playing an aggressive, fast defense, and you're trying to pick where you want to fight, where you don't really want to fight is against the enemy's two slowest, biggest super heavies as the isolated picks, while the enemy's fast tanks with higher DPM and burst come in and pick you apart.
Yeah, no, well, it's not. They're not really picks, are they?
No,
pick is something. Muscles is a pick. He's in the CS, right? You know. Who else is?
You
a
want
pick?
that Mouse and E100 have to run you down.
Kenway is a pick. If they catch him, because he was in a 277, right? But a E100 and a Mouse aren't a pick because it's just too much.
I mean, that's what Burbology wanted, because Burbology, if they had those as normal tanks, if they were 50Bs or 277s or whatever, then they are picks. But they weren't. They were specifically there deliberately to draw in the enemy and try to be bait. That was their whole entire purpose, and it worked out really well. And Tomatitos took the bait. That those are the tanks they went for. If you like you pointed out, if they went for Kenway, if they went for someone else, that Mouse and E100 have to traverse quite a bit of ground in order to be relevant. And all that you do by pushing into the Mouse E100, even though they didn't know they were there until they got there, they still could have technically turned around. All they did was, run into the trap and just take it. I don't know. It's exactly what Burbology wanted.
Yeah.
Here's the fantasy points too.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fantasy points here. We see that Fluky actually only a 9% pick in the fantasy league, doing the most fantasy points for these 4 battles. Then we have October coming in on the top with Kenway slowly creeping up behind. Oh my god, I love that guy. So I actually picked Kenway and OP and Hector, and I think, was it Sebastian for mine? And then I think I have one person from the other team. I think it's Bloop. So hopefully, I thought these were gonna go long. I thought it was gonna be 4-3, and everybody was gonna get fantasy. And unfortunately,
I did the same.
That is not the case. So
I picked your boy Kenway though. I thought today was gonna be his day. I got Sebastian, I got Sheep, and I got Muscles.
Well, Octo, I don't know who called. Well, they'll probably let me know. But if Octo was calling and did top fantasy, that's really good. It's kind of like, and especially doing it to Sheep, which Sheep is known for that, right? Sheep is known for being top fantasy and being the caller, and now Octo is like, actually, I can do that too. You know what I mean? So that's kind of really, it's kind of bizarre how some of those little things happen like that.
4-0 to Burps. I'm still in shock too. I even if it wasn't gonna be a 4-3, I didn't expect it. I just didn't expect a 4-0. I thought Tomatitos said less chance to win, but still.
I was like, oh, they're gonna what was it saying? Oh yeah. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, they're gonna, win on Himmels and go to map 3 because who loses Himmels defense? And then they started driving into the courtyard and down the 2 line, and they said, "Oh, Tomatitos loses Himmel's defense." That's who.
It's never good when you bring a bunch of fast tanks and then you just drive straight at the enemy's slow, immobile tanks.
I think they were looking for a pick, but it wasn't a pick, and then they were so committed. I almost feel like to be honest with you, maybe they should have just had Luxon. because Luxon was such a big pick there towards the end. It's almost like, make the 60 TP move first, maybe to turn them, you know what I mean? Like to get like a different rotation going by the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of go in with all the boys, so maybe you pick up the E100 and mouse a little bit easier. It was kind of weird that, because it was almost like one of those points where in that time period, the way that they push, there's no shot that they're going to be on the top or in the top of the hill anymore. Why would they leave somebody on the top of the hill? So it's like, what I was confused on is I was confused why he was still 8-line and he wasn't in courtyard, because he could have been in courtyard and the E100 and mouse would have backed up, and then he would have had that 750 gun going off. Does that make sense? And then he could have pushed in, and then their whole team would have been grouped up. And you see how different that could have been for them? It would have been vastly different. Because if we think about it, what was the HP of the E100 once everybody clipped into him? 707. So those two back off, and now he kills the E100. Job
focusing him
exactly.
The mouse was trying to shield him as best he could.
But he wouldn't have been able to shield him from a guy in courtyard.
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the only thing correct. So that's the only thing, because it wasn't like he couldn't. He was like the 8-line corner. So I don't know if he was there to like buy time. But but it's like, do you really want time? If you're doing that, why not just have all 7 in and then have his HP closer to all of you guys? Because then everybody's covering each other, right?
Mm-hmm. So, and the fact that they kept chasing, like, too, it could have just been, look, we got our damage out after that double VZ clip.
Correct. So like another good example,
back off and just reset everything.
They could have 100%. They could have reset. The problem is Luxon is still a pick because of where he was positioned, right? So that's why it's like, why didn't they just put him court?
Was he on the 8-line?
He was on like the 8-line corner. Which is like, huh? Well, you know what I mean? Because if he was in the middle, even if somebody's hill, he could still play that hold down.
Even if he's just running away a little bit, even just running to the fountain in the courtyard, not a perfect position, but just anywhere to make it where it takes longer for the enemy to pick him, and he's able to withdraw a little bit.
Correct.
But we've got a few minutes here.
We do.
Before we start the next round.
Are we just gonna go in like no break, or? Oh, okay.
I think we should take a couple minutes. Let's take a couple minutes, turn on some music, and we'll be back. See you guys in a few.
See you guys never. I mean, in a few.